So I don't have written at the top of your notes paper the word reflections, so you're welcome to write the word reflections on there if you'd like. Again, the title of these notes. And as a reminder, the FL in reflections can help you remember that the FL in the word flip, reflections and flip, that's what we're doing. We're flipping the shapes. And I wanted to point out once again that size does not change. The size of the shape does not change. It just looks different, okay? It's in a different position, but size, perimeter, area, none of that's going to change. All right, so our first slide is this one here. I know that you don't have colors on your paper, but you should be able to match up which side of the paper we're on, right? So this shape is being reflected, and we talked yesterday about the way that we can tell which one is our original shape and which one is our new shape. So is the original shape on the left or is it on the right? The original shape. The right. So we know that, I'm going to put over here original, and I'm going to label this one new. Remember, we know that because if we look at our points in the original shape, we just have A. However, in the new shape, we have A prime. Okay, so that's how you can tell the difference in the original and the new. So the first question over there is asking, which axis, X or Y, did the shape reflect over? Daphne, the y-axis. So think about, so usually axes are labeled, so you can see there's an X up here. There probably is a Y up here, it's just kind of cut off. So the X is your horizontal, your Y is your vertical. So whenever it looks like a page of a book flipping, that's your y-axis, and then the x-axis is like up and down, okay? Do you see, so looking at your coordinates that are labeled, do you see any relationship between them? For instance, your A and your A prime. A is 1, 3. A prime is negative 1, 3. What relationship do you see there? Raylan? Alright, so same digits, right? 1 and 3. The only difference is that the x coordinate is changing to negative. So same digits, but x coordinate is opposite. Do you want me to put opposite or do you want me to put negative? The reason I'm putting opposite is because if this was our original shape, then our x-coordinate would become positive. So technically it really is the opposite, okay? Remember, opposites are the positive and negative. Wow, I just did a combination of the word. Opposites. There we go. So the same digits, except the x-coordinate is negative. So B and B prime, 5 and 2. B prime is negative 5 and 2, okay? And that's how it's always going to be for these. Same digits when you're reflecting across the y-axis. So you really want to add those words in that I wrote up here. All right, looking at our next slide, which I bet some of you have already looked at, which is fine. So in this one, we can see that it's reflecting across the what axis? The x-axis. So again, this is flipping from, is it going from the top down to the bottom or the bottom up to the top? Top down to the bottom. So remember, looking to see where is my starting shape, where is my new shape by looking at those apostrophes next to the points. So we're going from the top down to the bottom, okay? So that's flipping over the x-axis. And again, looking at the relationship between your coordinates. So A to A prime, we have a negative 2, 1 to a negative 2, negative 1. B, 1, 4 to a 1, negative 4. C, 3, 2 to a 3, negative 2. So what can we say about those? Similar to what we said on the last one. Similar. Daphne. Alright. So same digits again, but y coordinate is opposite. So your x coordinate stays the same. Again, over the x-axis, x stays the same, y is the opposite. And our last one, over the y-axis, y stays the same, but the x is the opposite. So that can kind of help you when you're actually putting them onto a graph, which is what we're going to be doing next. We're going to actually be doing the reflection. Again, that can help us when we are naming points. So sometimes we don't have to name points and we can just draw it, but other times we do have to name points. So be thinking about the fact that the digits themselves didn't really change. It was just the opposite of one of the coordinates. All right, so let's look at that on the back. This first one, first of all, what is that shape called? What is that shape? It's a trapezoid. Very good. It's a trapezoid. So it's a type of quadrilateral because it's four-sided, and it's a trapezoid because two of the sides are parallel. All right, so the first thing that we want to do, we're going to be doing two things here. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to reflect this trapezoid over the y-axis and make that shape A prime. And then we're going to go back to our original shape, and we're going to reflect the original shape over the x-axis, and that's going to be A, and it has like two apostrophes there, okay? All right, so let's do the y-axis first. So this is how you would do it. I usually don't even think about like what my actual coordinates are unless I have to write them down. But I am going to be thinking, like, if I start with this point here, okay, I look to see how far away I'm going over the y-axis. So right here in the middle. It is 2 away from the y-axis. So I want to be 2 away from the y-axis when I come over here. Okay? And then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go straight up. That one's 2 away also. And it's 2 above this one. So straight up. Okay? And you don't need to write in those 2's there. I'm just writing in the 2 so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And get rid of my 2's so we don't make a big mess. And then, so again, this and this match up. I'm going to do my other colors in different so you can see what I'm doing here. These are how far, these green ones are how far away from the y-axis. 4 away. So I want to count from the y-axis for the opposite direction. Okay? And then you can connect your dots. So what some people do is they actually do a translation. They don't move over their dots correctly. So you really have to think opposite. Instead of going 2 to the right, I'm going to go 2 to the left. Instead of going 4 to the right, I'm going to go 4 to the left. All right, so this would be A prime. Now we are going to flip it or reflect it across the x-axis. Why don't you try doing that yourself right now? Try reflecting that over the x-axis. What quadrant is that going to go into? Quadrant 4. Okay. Alright, so let's see if you did it right. So these bottom points are only 1 block away from the x-axis, so I want them only 1 block away from the x-axis down there in quadrant 4 as well. And then this one is 3 blocks away, so I want it 3 blocks away. So instead of a positive 3, I want it to be a negative 3. And this one, instead of a positive 4, I want it to be a negative 4. And there's our second shape. We go with that? Alright, so it gets a little bit more confusing in the last picture that we have there because the shape is actually on the axis, so it makes it a little bit harder to visualize doing it. Okay? So we really just have to take one point at a time. And I'm sorry, I know that this one is a little bit blurry, but I was taking them like snips off the computer, so it is what it is. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take it point by point, and it doesn't matter which one of these 4 points we choose. I'm just going to start with G, okay? So for G currently is down 1, so I'm going to make it up 1. And make sure you label your points. So this is going to be G prime. F is currently down 1, so I'm going to make F up 1, and that's going to be F prime. Is everyone okay with those 2 points? All right, now let's look at our D and our E. So D is up 3, so what do I want to do with it? Make it down 3. So I'm going to go down here to the negative 3 and make that D prime. And then E is also up 3, so instead I'm going to go straight down 3 and make that E prime. And you can see how this is kind of looks like a mess right now, but if we connect our dots to make that trapezoid, then we can see how it is reflected. And again, that's harder to visualize when they overlap like that, but it is possible that they do overlap. Okay, so we just really have to take it one point at a time. So our x coordinate did not change at all because we were going over the x-axis, but our y coordinate was the opposite of what it was. Make sense? Anything that you want me to clear up about translations or reflections now? All right. So, again, the easiest way for you to practice is really using that IXL because you can manipulate the points. So yesterday's assignment is up here for anyone that still needs to see what yesterday's was. Was everyone able to pretty much get finished in class on yesterday's? So if you didn't finish yet, I haven't looked at the grades for your translations yet. So go ahead and make sure you finish your translations. And then your reflections are also to 70%. So I tried to make it a little bit lower so that I know once you get to the higher, they get harder and then it gets more frustrating. I wanted you to have practice at both levels also. I didn't want you to just have practice at the one level. So, all right, go ahead. You may move.